I can't get this thing down. I just can't do it. This is my 14th take, and I can't. There's so much to talk about this record that I can't break it down coherently. So I'm gonna try my best. This is gonna be my last take. Period. Bear with me. That's all I ask for you to do. Just bear with me. The song that I want to talk about, that I'm desperately trying to put together for you, is Claire by Gilbert O'Sullivan. It is at number 12 on WBAM's, no, number 13 on WBAM survey, the week of November 15th, 1972. It jumped 12 notches from number 25 the week before. This song was a huge hit. Christmas of 1972. It was one of the most cutest records I've ever heard. The video is absolutely touching with Gilbert O'Sullivan. It's like a father and daughter reunion. They're just having a good time playing outside, and it's touching. I know it sounds granny as hell, but this is just one beautiful video and a beautiful record. You just cannot get more innocuous than this record. It's clean all the way. Gilbert O'Sullivan, his second biggest American hit, Alone Again Naturally, was his first big one. It went to number 2. Claire was produced by his manager, Gordon Mills. It went to number 1 in England for 2 weeks. In late 72, it went to number 1 in Canada. It was a top 5 hit in America. You can hear Claire, the little girl Claire, about 4 or 5 or 6 years old. She is giggling at the end of this record. And this is just lovely. You see, Claire was not the daughter of Gilbert O'Sullivan. She was the daughter of Gordon Mills, Gilbert O'Sullivan's manager. Gilbert O'Sullivan would often babysit Claire for Gordon Mills. And that's the Claire part. Oh, one other thing. There's a reference in this record to Uncle Ray. Uncle Ray is actually referencing Gilbert O'Sullivan's real name, which was Raymond O'Sullivan. Now, that's part 1. Part 2, Gordon Mills. Gotta talk about Gordon Mills. Oh boy. You see, Gordon Mills was a big figure behind the scenes. Gordon Mills managed the career of Tom Jones and Engelbert Humperdinck, 2 huge mainstream singers, performers in the 60s and into the early 70s. He also, Gordon Mills he either co-wrote or co-produced It's Not Unusual, one of Tom Jones' biggest hits back in 1965. He also founded a huge record company, Gordon Mills did, along with Tom Jones, but don't hold me to the Tom Jones part of this. Gordon Mills founded a record company called MAM Records, and it was a successful record label. Gilbert O'Sullivan was on this record label. And later on, I believe in the late 70s, they were branching out into airlines and slot machines. Gordon Mills was making a lot of money. He was making too much money. What happened was, later on, Gilbert O'Sullivan discovered that his record contract with MAM Records favored his manager, Gordon Mills. Gordon Mills was making a whole lot of money from Gilbert O'Sullivan's hit records. There was a discrepancy between the amount of money that was generated by Gilbert O'Sullivan's records, his hits, as opposed to how much Gilbert O'Sullivan was actually making. And you know, this is an old story. This happens all the time, at least in the past, in the recording industry. Somebody, the artist particularly, gets shafted. Somebody else gets the lodestar of the dough. And apparently that was the case with Gordon Mills. Gilbert O'Sullivan retaliated. He launched a lawsuit against MAM/Gordon Mills. It was not pretty. This was a protracted lawsuit that lasted a number of years. Finally, in 1982, the courts awarded Gilbert O'Sullivan £7 million. And I take it was in back royalties. That's the equivalent of about 12 to 14 million American dollars. But you wouldn't know it if you watched this video with Gilbert O'Sullivan and Gordon Mills' lovely daughter. The more innocuous days, the more innocent days of late 1972, way before this nasty lawsuit came into being. This is Claire by Gilbert O'Sullivan.